right into the next sugya of, we know that you're allowed to give presents, and it's commendable to give presents on Shabbat and Chag, right? We like presents on Shabbat and Chag. Gemara and Beitza goes to great extremes discussing what presents were given on Shabbat and Chag. We discussed this in Unit 34 and said that you're allowed to give the present for Simchat Chag and for Simchat Shabbat, but not for other goals. For example, are you allowed to give it for a bar mitzvah present? Because that's not for Simchat Shabbat, that's for Simchat Bar Mitzvah. So that's the trickier situations. And it goes so far, right? So we have a thing called Mishlach Manot. Where does Mishlach Manot start from? Was the first Chag that we know of that the people gave Mishlach Manot? Rosh Hashanah, right? In Nehemiah, they were sending Mishlach Manot on Rosh Hashanah, right? Purim is trying to imitate Yantiv, and that's why we have a Chavad Mishlach Manot, which kind of flipped on its head and became Mishlach Manot on Purim, and Yantiv, whatever. Most of us don't. I don't think who here sent Mishlach Manot on Pesach. I didn't. Well, I was at a hotel, so whatever. But on Yom Tov, yeah.
It still come first.
What? What? It's a Mishnah and Gemara. Yeah. As not as a chiyuv, not as a chiyuv. The Gemara, the Mishnah and Gemara take for granted that of course people are sending presents to each other on Yantiv. Now we have to give halachic definitions to what you're to send. So, yeah, see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm saying the minhag, the very strong minhag. Why are you allowed to? Okay, let's start from the opposite question. Why do we have no such Gemara on Shabbat of sending presents to each other on Shabbat? Why is it that the whole discussion about sending presents is on Yontiv and not on Shabbat? It's on Beitzan, not Maseret Shabbat. Yontiv, not Shabbat. What? Because on Shabbat you're not allowed to carry. Maybe you have to say the whole thing afuch. Why are you allowed to carry on Yontiv? You're allowed to carry on Yantiv in order to allow Mishlach Manot. It's betzim a part of Ochel Nefesh, right? Just like Ochel Nefesh is allowed on Yantiv, so too carrying is allowed on Yantiv, so that you can carry things to each other on Yantiv. So
To eat.
yes, things are tzorach hamoed. Now, so that's a very important point. What are you allowed to carry? What are you allowed to send? So this is a pretty wild Gemara in Beit Tzadaf Tetvav. Rav Sheshet Sharanu leRabanan leShaduri Tefillin beyom HaTava. They'd send, small, right? How do I say shait tzanua? There's a word for that.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, right. All right, fair enough. Then you send tefillin, right? So we already discussed in Unit 34, like what were they doing with tefillin on Yontiv? Tefillin is clearly for something after Yontiv, right? Not for Yontiv itself. So we had a bit of discussion about the Unit 34. You can go back and look there. But as far as we're concerned, the question is different. Why are you allowed to carry the tefillin on Yontiv? You're not allowed to put tefillin on Yontiv. So it becomes a Kishach Torah Isul.
To give it as a gift.
So that's the answer. You're skipping. So it says the Beit Yosef. No, you're right. You're right. That's exactly my point. So the Beit Yosef, suddenly, if you try going through the Beit Yosef in Siman Shinchet is a very, very long siman that has almost all of Hilchot Moktzeh in it. It's a siman that has 56 seifim or something. It's very long. I don't remember the number, but it's around that. It's very, very long siman Shulchan Aruch, and the Beit Yosef kind of occasionally throws out some quote that he found about Muktzah totally. So quite randomly writes that right at the beginning of the siman, one of the first points there, he writes Dasha b'sefer nikra mikdash katuv she'asur tefillin b'Shabbat. Why get tzikl mishach dor isul? אחר כך כתב מי הוא קשה לי. מדברים בסוף פרק כמה דיום טוב, שי לשאול תפילין ביום טוב, so are you allowed to carry tefillin? No, so I can send them as a present. יש לומר שלא יתירו אלא מטעם שהוא נהנה בשילוחן. So there is pleasure and benefit from the very present. So why exactly are you allowed to send the tefillin as a present on Yom Tov is a question unto itself. We're not going to go into that right now. We discussed it in Unit 34. But Simchat Yom, you're creating Simchat Yom Tov by sending the tefillin, and that's why you're allowed to carry them. So anything, it would seem that any Klei Nishmat Yisrael. Now this is fantastic. So next time you guys are invited out for that's right. So on Shavuot, right, bring a toolbox as a present to your hosts, and you're allowed to carry it. Why not? What's the difference? What?
Toolboxes.
What's wrong?
You like chocolate.
Toolbox is so much cooler. The chocolates are in the Klei Nishmat Yisrael.
A toolbox, a tool. I mean, they're really wide.
No, toolbox full of tools, of course.
They're really
Oh.
wide into what's called a Torah Gufo, and makes it seem like a fidget toy would be allowed.
Right, I agree. I agree.
Like,
Right, I agree.
you're saying it's not really about. It's not to use the tool now. It's not to use the tefillin now. It's carrying the tefillin serves a purpose that in the world, right?
Anything you can retire.
Yeah. It seems you can justify, right. And then the nafkamina really would be a fidget toy. Right? Can you go that far too? Right? If the fidget toy calms me down, right?
Why is it into any?
Am I allowed to take what? No. So the things I don't know if you guys notice, usually because I'm busy with the computer, but when I teach not in front of the computer, I always have something in my hand. I don't know why. Because whatever. Yeah. I always need something. I'm always taking pens apart while I'm teaching. But whatever will be on hand, I'll just play with. I'm allowed to do that on Shabbos. Just kind of take the pen apart. I'm dafkasing. Right? If it's a stone, if it's muktzah, of course not. If it's right, of course not. If it's going to let it right, Lichora, there's no problem. But what about Klei Nishmat Yisrael? Can I justify saying, I like spinning the pen on my thumb? I know this weird thing. I know, but it's just something we do. Would that be allowed on?
Not good form. You like stand up and show, and you're like spinning a pen and should I?
No.
It's a good question, okay?